One of the books I wrote, I had a chance to interview Arthur Blank. And Arthur Blank started that little hardware store, I don't know if you've heard of it, called the Home Depot. So he starts the Home Depot, rolls it up and sells it for a pile of money. And what does he do? All these guys do this, right? They go out and they buy a sports team, right? So that's what Arthur did. So I was sort of sitting with him just recently after he'd bought the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm sitting with Arthur, and he's a very kind man, and I said, gosh, Mr. Blank, I said, with all due respect, I said, you start the Home Depot, and you roll it up and sell it, and I said, but now you own a football team. How does that work? I mean, how do you know how to run a football team, and how do you know how to win Super Bowls? How do you know how to put butts in the seats? How do you know how to sell sponsorships and tickets? And he said, well, you can imagine, Molly, when I bought the team, he said everybody was in my office trying to tell me how to do it, how to sell sponsorships, how to win Super Bowls, how to pick the right guys. He said all that stuff. He said, but you know what I did? He said, I went to 3 distinct buckets of people. He said, I went to the people that hadn't renewed their sponsorships with the organization, and I said, what do you need? What do you need to want to associate your brand with ours? What do you need? And he listened. He listened. He asked those questions and listened. He went to his veteran football players, and he said, what do you need? What do you need to win a Super Bowl? Tell me what you need. And what he heard was, the training facility where we prepare for the season is horrible. We need a better training facility. So Arthur went and lived at the training facility with the guys. He lived there. He lived there and slept in the beds and showered in the showers and ate the food and said, you're right, this isn't enough. This isn't right. He went to the fans who had not renewed their season tickets, and he said, what do you need? What do you need to associate your brand with ours? What do you need? So he listened. He went to all the different buckets, the veterans, the sponsors, the people that hadn't renewed their season tickets, and he said, what do you need? He connected. There is such a big difference between communication and connection. Arthur asked the difficult questions, and then he really listened. I think when we think about what we all do, when we can stay curious and connect, because at the end of the day, what these veteran guys were thinking, what the ticket holders were thinking, everybody was like, do you really care about us? Do you like us? Do you want to help us? That's what they wanted to know. But Arthur connected. He got up and walked around. He connected.